In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut up and bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of your favorite podcast, Defend Your Movie. I was going to say the Defend Your Movie podcast.
I can't. You're making me laugh just looking at you right now.
Why?
I don't know. It's funny.
My face? I am joined by my co-host, the hilarious Andy Fiore, everybody.
Hey, bud.
How are you?
I'm great.
It's good to see you.
You too?
I hope you're doing well.
Feeling good?
Feeling good?
Feeling good.
Right now, when we're recording this, we are in a very nice, chilled studio
Climate control.
at Showbiz Studios. Go to showbizstudios.com for any of your recording needs, because, or even if you just want to like pay the money, come here. Don't even record anything. Just record how nice and comfortable you are.
Just come take a nap in this AC.
Because outside today in New York, it's 98 degrees.
yeah,
I think,
and I feel
98.
like with the heat index, it's above 100.
They said it's 108 with
Yeah,
the heat
oh
index,
my Lord.
which is like you can't escape it. I don't know what's worse.
Nope.
What's worse? What would you rather now at this point? Summer in New York or winter in New York?
I always choose winter.
You do choose winter.
Always. I'm a big guy. I'm a burly man.
Yeah.
And I just hate the summer individually, so I'll choose winter every time.
See, I'm a chubby guy that I think convinced myself for a while. I'm like, I'm a summer guy. Like, I think I just had that from a kid.
I need the in-betweens. I need fall and spring. But if you gave me the choice, what I'd rather walk into, like heat into the AC
Yeah.
or cold into the warmth, I'd choose heat coming into AC.
You
That's
would,
more
yeah.
refreshing to
It's
me.
way more refreshing
Yeah.
than because yeah, you're right. Because when you're going into from the cold to the warmth, you just feel like it's the Wild West.
You're just kind of getting back to normal.
yeah,
you know?
That's what I mean. Like you're just getting back to like
98.6.
Yeah. But when you go to the cool, you're like, oh, that's like
Yeah.
a nice wet towel on my face.
Felt so good walking to the studio.
Oh, you know what? You said you saw 2 movies this week. I didn't
did.
realize I watched a movie yesterday that I would love to talk about.
Okay,
before
cool.
we get into the verses. What did you see? By the way,
My 2 were, we mentioned it last week briefly, but blockers or cock blockers, however it's titled now.
It's on video.
Yeah, on demand.
Dumbest name for a movie. I know I
Yeah.
said that last week, and nobody ever shares my disgust for that name. Like Saint Germain didn't care, and I was like, don't really? I think it's weird. Like, why was that? It makes no sense.
It
the
makes
term
a little
is cock
sense.
blocker. If you're gonna be that like edgy, call it cock blockers with
Right.
like a money sign as the
Right.
O or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They just had the rooster and then blockers,
so
which is dumb
stupid.
as shit.
So stupid.
In terms of the movie, I thought it was okay.
Oh, I heard it was. Oh, Saint Germain loved it.
Yeah, I thought it had some laughs. Cena's pretty funny, kind of doing his dad thing.
Cena's like surprisingly good in these movies.
The teenage cast was pretty funny.
Oh, really?
So like the young actors were good.
Which usually isn't the case.
I'm kind of sick of Leslie Mann and her whole thing.
I can say that she's been in a lot of movies. She kind of plays the same thing every
I'm
time.
just kinda
She's
like,
super
alright.
funny, but like there was like well, I guess she does the same thing every time because 40-Year-Old Virgin, she's kind of different.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's matured into this version of who she is from Knocked Up. She went to like Knocked Up, and then she just stayed
I thought
that
she was
person.
really funny in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yes.
You know, when they're driving home, she's like, I was going to French toast. Like that.
Yeah.
Really funny.
Super funny. Yeah.
And then the third, Ike Barinholtz. Is that his name? Did I
Yes,
say that right?
Ike Barinholtz. That
He's
guy
always
is
really funny.
a beast. That guy's funny as hell,
Yeah.
man.
But it was fine. I watched it at my parents' house just laying around on Sunday. And I
yeah.
chuckled, and it was a great watched at home movie.
It was. Oh, so it was like, okay, let's do this.
I didn't love it the way Saint Germain did.
Yeah. A lot of people said it was like, it did really well, I think, when it came out.
I can see that. It was
flip
very,
test. If it was on TV again, would you flip back and watch the whole thing?
No.
You wouldn't. Wow. Okay.
Doesn't pass
That's
the
telling.
flip. Doesn't pass the
Doesn't pass
FT.
the flip. Yeah, the FT. The old FT. We've been doing it 2 weeks, and it's like has initials already. The FT.
I don't know if my second one would pass the FT too, but I very much enjoyed Deadpool 2. That was my other one.
It's great.
It was really good, as I thought, even as good as the first.
I thought I liked the first one better, but I liked it a lot.
Same here.
Yeah.
I really liked the introduction of the new characters.
Yeah.
I thought the writing is always fun. It's always just funny, and because it's super raunchy, and they don't hold back.
No, not at all.
And it's a good cast. It's really funny and well acted. And then you got the superhero. I just enjoyed it. It's a very enjoyable movie.
And it's interesting because it took him years to get that made. It took Ryan Reynolds he produced co-wrote it and produced it with a group of guys, I guess a team of guys, and it took them multiple years. I think they had to film stuff or screen test stuff to show them hey, look how good this is.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to do this R-rated superhero movie.
Yeah.
And they just weren't. They thought, I guess back when he was trying to pitch it at first, it was before the Marvel wave. I'm guessing, or maybe it was right at the beginning of it. Who knows? That's a long time ago. So it probably was when the Marvel stuff was going on. But now it's so huge. It's its own, that's its own.
It's a fun franchise, man.
Marvel franchise. It's almost like its own Hollywood. They have their own universe. They have their own they have the TV part of it. They have the movie part of it.
Yeah.
They have the TV part of it. Not even just with the Netflix shows. They have CW shows. They have shows on those random channels. They have one that's about the psychic guy. I forget the name of it, but it's all this stuff that's just the property's so big.
It's huge.
You could have your whole entertainment center based off Marvel. You know? But Deadpool 2 was really
it was
fucking
cool.
good.
Cable's great. Josh Brolin's great.
Yeah.
I like how they break the fourth wall and they'll just reference the script.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's really
doesn't
fun.
he even call him Thanos in the movie? Or he calls him something else. He calls Josh Brolin played Thanos as well.
Right.
And I think he calls him Thanos.
I like it. There's one point he just looked at the screen where it was something his mechanism for traveling back in time could only work something, and he just looked at the screen. He just goes, "Oh, that's just lazy writing." I love it. It's a fun franchise, and they set it up for another one. So
right. And I think it'll be really, really good. The other thing is that one of my favorite parts of the Deadpool, and they have this in other movies too, but the Deadpool movies nails it when it comes to the showdown walk up to with the music. And they did a great bit in the first one. You guys remember where the taxi driver guy drops them off and he has a bunch of guns that he leaves in the taxi.
Right.
And then the taxi driver gets arrested and he can't get the guns. And he's like, oh shit. And they have no guns, which is such a great upping of the drama. But also they do a great it's almost like a trope, but it's a cool song. They play X gonna give it to you by DMX, and they're walking up, and in the middle they're he's like, where are your guns? He's like, oh, shit. And then he's like, all right, we'll just wing it. And then they keep going with the song. But it does, it's weird because it's funny, but it also looks badass.
Yeah.
And the second one, they have the same walk-up moment with another rap song that's an awesome song. I forget who, it's like a bunch of guys at once, a song made for the movie.
Right.
But it's really, really good.
So that's what I watched.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2, flip test?
I don't know if it's got the flip test. I don't think it'll pass the flip test because those are those kind of movies where once you see all the reveals and everything, you it doesn't hold up to repeated viewings.
But I will say, the sequel, they did a good job of a sequel. Think about how hard.
Really good job of a sequel.
It's one of those things where you could the novelty of that could have been up very quick. Oh, it's a cursing superhero that is kills people in the thing. That was the reveal of the first one, how badass he is. And they did a good job of just upping. They upped the ante, and they also made it still funny, and they made you still invested. You know what I mean? It could have just been oh, this is the same thing as the first one.
Yeah, they separate. Yeah, it was good.
It's really not.
Yeah. Another thing to tie into my time spent in my folks' house in New Jersey, I was watching Jeopardy with my parents, and Oscars was the final Jeopardy category.
Really?
Let me see if you can get this. Tough one. I did not get it.
Yeah.
It was the only sequel to win Best Picture since Godfather Part 2. And I really had to think about it. I only had 30 seconds.
Was it The Color of Money?
No.
Was it?
Which I don't even know if it's considered a sequel.
Well, that's technically a sequel. That might have been the technical. It has. Let me ask you this: does it have 2 in the title?
It does not have 2 in the title.
Right.
It has a subtitle. If that is a hint, it has ba 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 ba. Huge hint. Wow. See, I started thinking about what's considered a prequel or sequels in there, and I just didn't get it right. Also, I'll tell you this: I'm not a fan of this franchise.
Yeah. Is it Ballistics 2 X versus Server? Whatever
that is incorrect. It is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That one for
that
Best
one
Picture?
Best Picture, and it's a sequel. I know I wasn't thrilled either, but
Yeah, I guess. Is it a sequel? Yes, it is. It's part of a multi...
I don't love those movies to begin with.
I don't
I'm not
either.
a Lord of the Rings fan.
I've never seen them.
I started watching the first one, and it just took forever. I said, I'm never going back.
Yeah.
So I never saw any of the others.
And they finished them and then went back and did The Hobbit.
Yeah, and I know people who love them. Love them.
I think I have, like, you know, sometimes you get, like, hipster movie guy in your head where you're like, people love it so much, I'm not going to go see it.
Oh, totally.
I had that when I was a kid with
I have that a lot.
Titanic, and I think when The Lord of the Rings came out, I was like, fuck these movies. Also, I'm not into fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
sci-fi, but not fantasy.
I'm with you. Same thing.
Like, if they did a movie and it was like an aliens type thing, I would be like more into that than I would, Like they made the alien, them being aliens part of it, like not them just being, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Fantastical, you know.
So.
That's kind of a cop out, but not really a cop out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
But I would never in a million years thought of that. Also,
not.
because I didn't think the pedigree of those movies got to the point where they won Best Picture.
I
But
feel
now
like
that you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
We were in a soft spot of movies for a long time for Best Picture nominees.
During that time
during
period?
that era, yeah,
You're
like
probably
the
right.
mid 2000s.
Yeah, there wasn't much going on.
Yeah.
Was that with the Crash period? I think Crash.
Yeah,
also-
Crash was one. I think that was.
We did Crash on the podcast, but Jim Norton came and defended Crash.
Oh, really?
And it's there's a lot of holes in Crash. There's like
It's not. Ugh,
It's not
tough,
great,
man.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, I was telling him back in the episode. If you look back in our catalog, you'll see Jim Norton defends Crash. It's the one with Matt Dillon. There's a couple
wanna
of different
say it's
Crashes.
2007, but who knows?
It's something like that, and it's just kind of beats you over the head with it. It's a Paul Haggis. He directed it, I think, and wrote it, and it's like very. Like, it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, if I really put my head, head together, I could probably write this movie.
Right.
Like, you know, and and I don't consider myself a good script writer. You know,
Right.
Whatever. I watched, and I want to see if you're a fan of this. Yesterday, saw it on Netflix. A very big fan. Also love it even more now for a different reason. I think because I'm older, and for another reason I'll tell you in a minute. Silverado.
Never saw it.
Oh, are you a Western guy?
Not a
The
huge
older
Western
I get,
guy.
the more I'm a Western guy.
That's starting to happen with me, so I'll give it a shot.
You should watch it. My dad was a huge Western guy. But I think that was from when he was a kid. Like when my dad was growing up, I think Westerns were a big deal. You had John Wayne, you know, all that. And certain ones I watched, like Silverado, we went to go see in the theaters. And I think I liked it back then because I was with my dad and he liked it, so I liked it. Because I really didn't like, you know, I got it, but I also was like, it was kind of boring as a kid. You're kind of bored a little bit, right?
I couldn't tell you one thing about it.
Oh, it's a great cast. Brian Dennehy, Danny Glover, Dennis Quaid.
It's 85. I was
85.
thinking like older Western.
No. But here's the thing. 85 is old enough now that when you watch it, you think of it as the time period that it's in now. Because I remember when I watched it in 85, I was like, oh, there's the guy from Lethal Weapon. I thought of it as very modern because I was
what
like,
a cast.
It's a great cast.
Scott Glenn.
Rosanna Arquette. Rosanna Arquette. Jeff Goldblum plays like a wormy gambler.
What's Cleese doing in there?
John Cleese. Yeah, he plays the sheriff in one of the towns they're in. You got to check it out.
All right.
Also, you got to check it out just for Brian Dennehy. Can we just talk about how great Brian Dennehy is?
Yeah.
Is that a known thing? Just you put him in the realm of one of these character actors that just breaks free. He becomes
Absolutely.
famous because he's basically a character actor, but he's so good that people know who Brian Dennehy is. And now he's I think he's 80 years old now. Went to the high school where my mom was the guidance secretary, Chaminade High School in Long Island, the Catholic high school, and grew up in Connecticut, or then moved to Long Island and then went to that high school. But so good, and also kind of he segues right into what we're going to talk about.
Exactly, perfect segue.
Yeah. But don't you just want to hang out with Brian Dennehy?
Yeah.
Is that just me? Because it's like.
He seems like the best. Like he's that cool dad or even uncle.
Yes, he's so cool.
Yeah,
and then also here's the thing: there's movies that Brian Dennehy plays a good guy, and there's movies that he plays a bad guy. And this he's basically a bad guy. Like, you know, it's not really a reveal. In the Silverado, he's like pretty much a bad. You know off the bat that he's like kind of shady.
Gotcha.
So, but he does a good job of it, and he looks badass, and he's just and then back then that's 85. So he's like 40.
Is that's a few years after First Blood?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
First Blood's 83. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's only a couple years after. So he's almost 50 in that movie. But he looks, but because it was back then, like that's only 7 years than I am older than I am now.
Yeah.
Like, he's 47, 48.
Yeah.
But back when you watch him, you're like, oh, he's old. But you're like, he's not that old.
I know. Yeah. That's
And then
always
now
weird.
he's 80. But like, so good.
God.
If you haven't checked out Silverado and you like Westerns, I have a new appreciation for Westerns. And what did it for me was 310 to Yuma got me more psyched. I liked 310 to Yuma is great. And then Hell or High Water is another one that's like
Hell or High Water is
modern,
really cool.
It's modern day set, but it's an amazing Western. Another good. I'm a big character actor fan, and I feel like you're the same way.
I love. Oh yeah.
And just like Brian Denny, he's so great and all these things. Ben Foster, that guy.
Great.
What a good choice of a career. Like, you want to talk about being respected. Like, Ben Foster is one of those guys that you've only seen in, like, respectable stuff,
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah.
Or, like, I remember the first time I saw Ben Foster was 6 Feet Under, and he was, like, good in that. He played, like, this crazy kid that was dating a daughter. And then the guy just, like, I don't know, man. I think, like, back then, if you were on a big show like 6 Feet Under, he probably had an opportunity, even if it wasn't a lead in something. You know, he doesn't look like a leading man, but, like, you know he had the chance to be a best friend on a sitcom or a thing. You know he's making, like, that. That's an actor choice those people have to make, that they decide where their career goes.
Yep.
Apparently, Vincent D'Onofrio did the same thing. I think he was offered a bunch of big stuff back in the day, and he turned it down, I heard, back in the 80s. And he chose the way his career went. And then he did Criminal Intent, but he's good in Criminal Intent. Like
I can't watch it.
Criminal Intent?
Oh, I can't.
It's fantastic.
It's painful to me.
How is it? Why is it? Law and Order Criminal
it's
Intent?
so over the top, D'Onofrio. Come on, he knows everything. He can.
It's based off Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I can't do it.
That's why it's so great. If it
give me
wasn't
Orbach. Give me.
if he wasn't doing that, it would be just boring.
But the show doesn't need that. We didn't need Criminal Intent.
Yes, that's my favorite one.
I don't like any of them other than regular Law and Order. I don't like Special Victims Unit. I don't like
you're out of
Criminal
your
Intent.
mind.
No, I don't think I am. Give me McCoy. Give me Jerry Orbach.
What about back in the day?
Give me even Paul Sorvino.
Yeah, Paul
back in the
Sorvino.
day, who steps in after the first guy,
Michael Moriarty.
is murdered
From Bang the Drum Slowly. Yeah, that's when they were like. That's when you watched that show and it was like, that's for
I've
real.
watched 8,000 hours of original.
I've
to the
seen-
point now where I go, I can't find one I haven't seen.
Oh no, you're done.
Yeah, I'm
It's
done.
Criminal Intent.
I have to
love.
watch it in order though. I've never watched it in order. I've always watched them just whenever they're on, out of order, and I've pieced it all together.
Oh, you should watch it. They're going to do a marathon on Wii TV.
Yes.
Wii TV. It's so weird because as a guy, I guess it used to be women's entertainment. I think Wii
Yeah.
TV, but then as a guy, you're watching it, and Wii TV. And like you'll be watching, I watch like Monk on Wii. I love Monk. I love Monk. And then Wii TV. And after when the commercial breaks for Monk, it's like, it's Divorce House on Wii TV. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I had Andy Breckman in studio.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was fucking fanboying out.
Are you a Monk fan?
Big?
Yeah, I'm big
Huge.
into it.
And just like he's a genius too. On top.
He is a genius.
Yeah.
He created it.
SNL he wrote for when Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on.
Well, that wasn't the best years for SNL, but he's fun. He's Monk alone
Monk
is.
genius. Yeah. Anyway,
Wait. So, did you ask him about Monk?
yeah, of course.
I also heard this is not movie related, but I heard Monk that they ended it. They ended it.
Yes.
They could have kept going, but apparently it was too expensive to film in. Or was that it? They decided to end it because they didn't want to film in San Francisco anymore?
Yeah. Also, and he told me he just like felt like he didn't want to keep it going for the sake of keeping it going.
It was getting silly at the end of
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
like they had a UFO one. Speaking of my other favorite topic, UFOs.
Of course.
Is he a nice guy?
So nice.
Oh, I want to. Where does he live? L.A.
New Jersey.
Summit, New Jersey.
Does he really?
Yeah, I randomly know that.
Yep.
My friend Danny Dratch used to write on it.
Yes.
And that's
you
how-
know Dan?
Yeah.
That's Rachel Dratch's brother.
Yeah, exactly.
He used to do my open mic at Ochi's.
Yeah, and I remember talking to him one day. He's like, I got to go out to Jersey. I'm like, because that's like 2 towns from where I grew up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, weird. You guys do it all out there. He's like, yeah, it's Breckman wants.
Wait for the show?
Yeah, he's like,
And
we
then just
go
film
to
in
his
San
house.
Fran.
We write it.
Really?
Yeah.
Great. That's great, right, Alex? It's so good. I don't think people realize. I think people with those USA shows, I think they sleep on those USA shows. Because you know what else is good? Psych was good.
I never watched Psych, but I liked
that
Monk.
kid. I was just thinking this now. I saw a bus ad of James Roday. Is in, like he played the main guy in Psych, Sean, whatever his name is. He is really talented. but I think people sleep on him because it was a USA show. It was kind of goofy. Like, I think Dule Hill was a bigger name in that show.
Yeah.
Those shows are quality shows, but because they were the early USA shows, people, I think, are like, it's garbage. It's like, it's just corny garbage. But I'm like, Monk isn't. Monk is like really deep and funny and written well, for at least for the first 7 years, whatever the hell it was. All right. Well, it had the good segue, and I ruined it. We had my Brian Daly segue.
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
And I ruined it. Let's get to the verses for today. We actually went off. You have the name?
Fan suggestion.
We went off for fan suggestion. We'd like to give a shout out to.
Thanks, BG Mac. You can follow him at Sam1178.
Sam1178, BG Mac.
Thanks,
I wonder
Mac.
what your actual name is because that's a bunch of different.
Maybe Big Mac is that? I don't know.
Big Mac.
There you
Yeah,
go.
he loves Big Macs.
But a great suggestion. We do see when you guys write to us, so please keep following at Defend Your Movie. And this was a great one. We were texting. We said, let's do this one.
We're gonna do. And I think it'll be good to. I think people have opinions about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Planes, Trains, and Automobiles versus Tommy Boy. Which, similarity-wise, if
Very
you think about
similar.
it, very similar movies.
Yeah.
And for purposes of this episode, Andy will be taking,
Tommy Boy.
and I will be taking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Andy, would you like to start off and tell us why you think Tommy Boy is better than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Tommy Boy, for me personally, I think is a funnier movie, just right off the top. Is a little closer to me. I'm more familiar with David Spade and Chris Farley than I was at the time of first seeing it than John Candy and Steve Martin.
Really?
Just personally.
Okay. Because we're close in age, so I
exactly.
figured, yeah.
But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, weirdly, was one of those John Hughes films for me as a kid. Kind of was off my radar until I got a little older.
Because you think it was a little too adult.
Yeah, maybe that was what it was. But for some reason, I just didn't see it when I was a kid, as opposed to all the other John Hughes films, which I watched a million times.
Yeah.
So Tommy Boy became, for me, one of those. I saw it when it was out, and then it became kind of an underground classic between my friends and I. Whereas, like, I can remember, like, Sean Bracken, we were down the Jersey Shore. We stayed up all night. We were smoking weed. And Farley's doing the scene with the ambulance, and he's on. And I remember Sean Bracken laughing so hard, like he had asthma already. And I'm, like, worried
have an
about his
asthma
health.
attack? Oh.
Yeah. And I just remember, like, it has, favorite memories from that movie.
Yeah, okay. So it becomes personal.
But this is a tough one for me, too, because they are very similar.
They're very similar, but where they deviate, and not to get too inside, not inside baseball, too
Go ahead.
here. Where they deviate is the type of comedy. Because
Yes.
but you know what?
You're
though?
right.
There's a weird, like, I want to say a higher browness to Planes, Trains, but only because of who's involved. Like, I think because of how we think of Steve Martin. Like, I think overall, if you go comedy, I think you might be right. I think Tommy Boy is a better straight up comedy, slapstick, goofball movie.
Correct.
But if you go movie, Planes, Trains is a better movie because what they had it was more the drama. It's
more dramatic.
More dramatic. It's more dramatic, and then you can say, Sean, you were talking about a comedy. Why do you care? Because back in the 80s, there was this thing of like and it was John Hughes. First off, John Hughes. Having John Hughes involved, like, there you go, right there. You like the quality factor goes through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
And on top of it, there was in all of his, the story was part of it. Like John Candy, if he was still alive, probably would have won an Oscar by now. Like that, like,
right, we were
like how
saying
Tom
that earlier.
Hanks, yeah, exactly. Like Tom Hanks, kind of switched from those goofy comedies to like John Candy. And I have a personal thing with him too because he kind of reminds me of my dad. Like he kind of looked like my dad. He was goofy like my dad. But those dramatic scenes with John Candy and Planes, Trains, you can put them up against any dramatic scene in any drama.
Yeah.
So the quality factor, because of that, and story-wise, goes up for me. Like the emotional factor of Planes, Trains, like the "I like me" speech, which might be the saddest thing in the history of movies.
Yeah, the genuine articles. I mean,
oh my god,
it's rough.
And then the other thing is this, like, and I know we're talking comedies. That's why you're gonna probably win today because I'm doing.
Well, all right, I'll let you go, but then I do have a rejoinder.
The end when he goes back to him with the train station and Planes, Trains, and he's sitting there and he has one mitten on and he's holding his hat and he goes, "Del, what are you doing?" And he goes, "My wife died years ago." And then they're walking together at the end with his trunk back to his house.
Yeah.
First 10 times I watched that, I cried the first 10 times I watched
yeah.
it. But then it shows you the quality of movie that it is. At the same time, the amount of funny shit that's in that movie, like the amount of there's iconic things. Those aren't like you could if we were talking to older people, it's more like Tommy Boy is more iconic for us because we were teenagers when it came out. If you were talking to older people right now, Planes, Trains would be more iconic because of those aren't pillows scene. Those aren't pillows scene when he goes, where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows! And they freak out and they go, hey, you watched the game the other day? Like that scene was iconic for like a while. Like you don't really, it's Tommy Boy is played way more on cable.
Yeah.
Tommy Boy is more in the lexicon of things right now. But I would say
but you get to Thanksgiving and Christmas time. Planes, Trains is on a lot.
Plane Train's on a lot. You're right. Yeah, that's true.
But
not as much Tommy
It's more
Boy.
seasonal.
Yeah. But what I will say is, like, I think overall, I think if you add that drama in there, you add John Hughes, and you have iconic comedy scenes. One of the best things ever, one of my favorite scenes ever in a movie is when they're driving on the wrong side of the road, and the guy goes, "You're driving." He goes, "You're on the wrong side." He's like, "Okay, thank you," and he makes the "I'm drunk" like symbol. Amazing. Or the part where the guy's sleeping and he's like playing the cell phone's playing and he's doing the piano on the dashboard. Like
what's the song? Oh, do the mess around?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like those moments to me, I'm like makes it a better movie, and I laugh. And it's John Candy. And what John Candy is like one of my all-time faves.
Conversely, I don't think Tommy Boy gets enough credit for some of the dramatic scenes in it, where it's actually a very touching movie. You have a very slapstick comedy to begin with, and you have a death pretty early on.
You do. Yeah,
hits,
you're right.
And that's if you're making a straight up comedy with like those two guys, that's a pretty heavy scene to drop on people, and it forwards the story very well.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't really hold you back. You're not caught up in the death because it promotes what Tommy and Richard have to do.
Right. Well, also because I said, I've said this before, but like the tone of both of them, they both have music. Music can tell you a lot about what they were trying to do with the movie.
They're very similar movies.
They're
you got
very
a skinny
similar.
guy and a fat guy.
Skinny guy and a fat guy. They go on a road trip together.
Primarily comedies, but underlying dramatic tones.
Yes.
I would say the
closing scene, because even I was thinking about this.
That's where my next one was going to be. The scene on the boat where he's just kind of talking to his dad. That has made me tear up a little before.
Yeah.
And then even after, not to go back to the funeral scene, but when it does that pan, it's a great shot when they're all circled around Brian Dennehy when he
dies
at the funeral, and then it pans up and the people come up and they're now have buried the casket.
Yeah,
it's a cool shot.
So it's super fast. Yeah.
And then you just see kind of Farley just walking down that long road, the tree. Like that's a sad, tough scene.
Yeah.
But it's really, and it's not corny. And you genuinely are very sad and feel badly.
It's for real. Yeah. I just think that,
and he was a great dramatic. Like he could pull off those moments because he was a good actor.
He was a good actor. But I think that I think Candy and I think Steve Martin are better actors than Spade.
Yeah,
but not by much.
Here's the other thing. This was their first real movie. Farley. I mean, they were in supporting roles, but this was their first lead for both of them, and I thought they both pulled it off really good. It is a Lorne Michaels produced movie. Bonnie Turner, Terry Turner, old SNL writers wrote it. Peter Segal directed it.
Oh, okay.
So it's a well-made. They had good people around them, and I thought they pulled it off. It wasn't like it made money, but not crazy money at the box office. But it did become.
Oh, it wasn't a huge. It became.
No, it wasn't a huge hit. It made money, but not a huge hit.
Was Planes, Trains a huge hit?
It made money as well, but I don't think it was a huge success.
So crazy.
Yeah.
You think what happens with that? You think it's Tidal? You think Tidal does it? But Tidal, like Tommy Boy, makes sense.
Timing, and I feel like there's so much that goes into when movies are released.
Those movies came out when box office still matters, but I mean people were going to the movies.
I know they each. I just reading up on these. I know they each made their money back and then some. So.
But you mean they weren't like?
I don't think they're
blockbuster
No, they weren't
hits.
blockbusters. They've both become beloved.
Yeah. Well, what do you think has become more beloved? I think you might have me on that.
I think Tommy Boy.
I think Tommy Boy has. I think Planes, Trains has been forgotten about, and I think part of the reason, maybe
Tommy Boy is a lot more superfluous.
Older, maybe because Planes, Trains is older. Also, Steve Martin isn't really in movies as much anymore, right? Like, is he doing movies as much?
No, he's
not really. He also kind of
stuff
tanked a couple of them. Like, a couple of them were kind of bad, and then also. Chris Farley was like, you have the one thing I will tell you.
He only lived 2 more years.
Yeah,
after
exactly. And the one thing I'll tell you is like you have the SNL factor. Oh, I guess Steve Martin. You had well, no, he would just do guest spots in SNL.
Yeah, it was never a cast.
So the SNL factor, like they. That's why I think people love these guys because
Farley was beloved on SNL.
Exactly.
I
They
mean,
both
It's
were.
hard to beat Steve Martin, but I mean, there's actually a funny story to connect them. I read this in the that SNL behind the scenes book, which is great. It's live from New York.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever
I know. I never
even
read it.
liked,
I heard how great
even
it is.
liked Saturday Night Live. Just
Check it out, right?
Especially for comedy nerds. There's a story between tying into Tommy Boy and Steve Martin, the pool scene. When Tommy goes to get a pizza and then he eventually catches Richard.
You know where the gym is?
Yeah.
the
The
gym?
girl, like when they're at the pool that dives in, Tommy goes, "Oh, don't give her the weight room routine, Tommy."
Yeah.
That girl was Chris Farley's real life girlfriend at the time,
Oh, really?
and she eventually broke up with him. And it was known to Fred Wolf, who was a
I know Fred
SNL
Wolf
writer.
is.
Yeah.
Dirty Work.
And then he's gone on to direct a bunch of those
Yeah.
guys' stuff.
He's amazing.
He found out that that girl, her name was Kat. She ended up. Then her next boyfriend was Steve Martin.
Oh, really?
And so Wolf goes. He goes. Farley comes to me. He's like, "Man, you got to tell. Do you know anything? Have you heard anything? Is she with anybody?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know who." Even though he did, he goes, "But I think she is dating somebody." And Farley goes, "Well, man, you know what? He might be better looking than me, and he might have more money than me, but he'll never be funnier than me." And Wolf goes, "I didn't have the heart to tell." It was Steve Martin, and he had him on all three because I couldn't break the guy's heart.
But you know what, though? Fuck that. At this point,
yeah.
Farley, you could put Farley and Steve Martin up against each other.
I agree
Come
with that,
on,
but
man.
this was at the time.
Especially
I
with
just
Steve
go,
Martin's
"Oh, poor
clarinet
guy."
bullshit and all that. It's like, what is that clarinet?
banjo.
The banjo. But it's great. Actually, he had a song that I love, that Caroline song I love that he
yeah.
had out. He had like a video out with people from SNL in it. But you could put them head to head, I think.
Now, but I guess that was right
At the time,
back in the time
when he was on
You know,
SNL and stuff, or when that movie came out. Oh my, that's funny.
Yeah, so there's the tie-in right there. But the poor guy.
But basically, what I mean by that is, and I'm making your case for you when I say this, the SNL factor makes that more of a legendary movie because
Yeah, that
they
huge
were in
prime
everybody's
time
houses
SNL.
each week, so people
Yeah.
love SNL people. Think about that, like even right now when people aren't really watching TV, SNL is still like this
It's a household
stalwart.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of SNL movies have done really poorly because they've been bad.
Sure, but when it's good, it's
So
good.
when they're good, they're good. I mean,
Well, they haven't had a good one.
I don't know
while.
what they've all done recently.
You know what
but-
though? That pop star one with Andy Samberg.
Yeah, not bad.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And it didn't do well. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it was really funny.
Geez, I don't know some of the recent ones. I thought like MacGyver was great with Will Forte.
Oh, MacGruber?
MacGruber.
I didn't
yeah,
see
yeah.
MacGruber.
It's really funny. It's so dirty and raunchy, but it's really funny.
But here's the thing, man. I think my case being like, it's just coming from a place of like, I think Planes, Trains. Like, I think, all right, Tommy Boy would never be nominated for an Oscar. I think if you skewed I think Planes, Trains could be.
I think individually they might have. Maybe not the movie, but the actors.
You think so?
I think. Well, we
Individually,
said this
yeah.
earlier.
Oh,
if
yeah,
it was
yeah,
made
yeah.
today,
John Candy could be nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Tommy Boy, neither of those guys would be nominated for Oscars.
No.
Just like how I feel about Groundhog Day. They say that about Groundhog Day. They're like, if it was around now, it'd be nominated for an Oscar.
yeah.
Because it has that. It's a quality movie.
Absolutely.
There's like a quality in writing. Like, it's almost like you could put, like, Tommy Boy to me. But Planes, Trains kind of has this too. It is goofy. It is a slapstick comedy. It's supposed to be a physical comedy. But Tommy Boy to me is, I'm like, you could do that as like 3 half-hour sitcoms. You know what I'm saying? Like a continuation of a 3 half-hour sitcoms. Yeah.
I'll give you this one. I think Tommy Boy has more iconic lines, like more repeated lines, quotable lines.
I think it probably does. Like the Luke, I am your father. That's a huge.
that's a huge
That was like
one.
everybody did that.
There's just a lot of lines, all just like.
But Planes, Trains has Those Aren't Pillows, and it has which isn't as big as anything in Tommy Boy, and then it has
Holy Shnikes was a huge
that was a
thing
big
for
one.
a
Yeah,
while.
you're right. I shouldn't even list the other ones. Yeah, like you're right. Like you're right. It's yep. You're right. It's a way more iconic lines than Planes and Trains.
Yeah.
But Planes and Trains, like I don't know, man.
I'll
Like
give
for
you
me, a guy like me, like having John Hughes attached to it, like puts
No,
it in that world.
maybe a better made movie. Although One problem I have with planes, trains, and automobiles is the montage of shots when they finally are at Steve Martin's house at the end. There's like a shot, but it's a weird.
Wait, when they're walking up?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, and it shows his wife. Like, it's such a weird.
Well, also, he has the thing where, like, it shows there's a weird dream sequence when he's on the way there before he goes back to the train station to get John Candy.
Yeah.
Isn't it like where he's picturing them, like, it's shots between their trip and he's laughing it off, kind of, and shots of, like, them at, like, the Thanksgiving table. Like with like the turkey and everything.
Oh, and that's when he realizes, like,
yes,
all the cryptic things he said. He's like, I don't think his wife is alive.
Right. Yeah. And then when they go back, there's like, yeah, you're right. What are the shots? Like, you mean there's shots of like
weird?
It's like the wife's hands or something. Or like
it's so bizarre.
Yeah,
it really is like throws you for a loop right at the end of a really poignant moment.
Yeah,
and you're just like, all right.
And the little girl is like, "Daddy," and he's like, "Hey, kiddo."
Yeah, and then the wife comes down. Yeah, it's really.
And she's like crying.
Yeah,
she thinks he's not coming. I guess. Yeah, that's like a little bit like melodramatic, a little bit right at that moment.
Yeah,
but then. Though there's a great line, but then you kind of, well, I'll tell you what kills it, but what really does great, right after that, she goes, "Hello, Mr. Griffith, it's nice to meet you." She says, that kills me. That, for some reason, that's a great line. Like, it's a weird line, but it's like.
It is weird.
It's a weird line, but it's like, and he goes, "Hello, Mrs. Page," whatever her name is.
Right.
I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of like a weird olden time movie or something.
That always rubbed me the wrong way for some reason.
I always get like butterflies in my stomach when they would say that, because I'm like, it's just such a sullen, like, it's like sad. It's sad. It just makes me sad. Like, there's like, I don't know, certain things of this, like they make certain, they like, pull certain reactions out of you. Like, I just watched. All right, our friend, you're friends with Drew Michael, right?
Yeah.
Drew Michael, and I gotta be honest, I'll be honest, I told him this. I go, I was apprehensive about watching Drew Michael's special on HBO.
Yeah.
Because I was like, one of the things I love about Drew Michael, if you haven't seen him, he's a great comic, and he has an HBO special. It's on HBO Go right now, and HBO Now and all that, and live HBO, I guess. The good thing about him is that he has these amazingly unlikable premises that he, by the end of the joke, he turns the crowd on. And I've seen him do it firsthand. And when he first got here, I would tell people about it and be like, book him, because he's fucking hilarious, and he really is a smart comic who, like, whatever. But the thing about this special is that he does it. From what I heard, it was like there's no audience.
Yeah.
And the way people made it sound like it was like it like they showed the theater with no audience. That's not what it is. It's just him in front of a screen.
Right.
And it's a different take. I don't know if I would call it stand up, but I went into it thinking I wasn't going to like it, and I liked it a lot. Like, I really liked it a lot. And it's cool looking. I don't know if I'd call it stand up. I wasn't laughing
more
like I would if you had an audience in front of him.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. But one of the things I enjoyed about it is like it's basically it's very very like not meta, but like it's very like stylistic, and like they just start with a blue screen, like a very like ocean blue screen. Whatever. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it goes to my point about planes, trains. It gave a reaction out of me, because with the conversation that he has a conversation with this girl during it. Like this girl, they keep going back to this girl, and she talks about these mundane things. And he's into they're talking about this stupid shit. But he's like putting his bits into it, and that's how he's getting his bits out. But it made me remember like when you talk to a girl you're really into, and you guys are just talking about whatever, but it doesn't matter because you're so into her. Like, that's the feeling I got from it.
Oh, that's good.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so when
absolutely.
I talk about planes and trains,
analogy.
I'm like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, so. Planes, trains, like that. There's reactions that it makes me. There's feelings that it makes me feel when I watch it. So like the movie itself. Like, if I saw it now, I don't know. It's so old. I don't know what I would think, but like
it's a little dated, but I don't think much. There's like a lot of credit card shenanigans and money issues where it could be so easily solved today.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like he can't get money out anywhere.
It's like a Seinfeld thing where a cell phone could have solved their entire.
Absolutely, but you suspend reality for that because it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Same thing in Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy is probably a little dated now too. I mean, it was made in '95. They're not actually that far apart. 87, 95.
Tommy Boy's dated, but like it's so like. It's so light, you don't care.
The thing is like they literally can't get home because they can't get money out anywhere. So it's like,
you're right. Yeah,
but
and that was a problem that ended like a year after these movies came out. Like it was like But I'll tell you a little tidbit: Planes, Trains. Kevin Bacon in the beginning. I think it's Kevin Bacon who's racing Steve Martin for the cab.
Okay, because I was going to say better supporting side cast.
Oh, it's
I
great.
Think you got to give Tommy Boy on this one too. Rob Lowe's great.
What's
her name? Not Farrah Fawcett, but she's a 10. The model, Bo Derek, is great. And there's a very funny, subtle line when she comes out of the pool and Brian Dennehy introduces her.
Said she's a 10.
He's like, oh, she's a 10.
Yeah.
Referencing the famous poster.
I don't think it's settled.
All right, maybe. I feel like younger people don't know that at all.
No, they're not going to know that.
That's just the line that would go.
Back then, if you were a teenager and you were watching it,
all right, so maybe
there was there's a couple year period where you would know it. I didn't know the movie 10 as much. You're right. When you're watching it, you know of it, but you know not like. Because
and it's a
like,
line you could easily just not pay attention to.
Basically, what like 10 was like, all right, in Fast Times, the Phoebe Kate scene, 10 for people was that for a lot older people.
Oh yeah,
like that iconic, like it was like
cars moving in stereo. The cars moving in stereo.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great thing.
It's perfect.
Does
anybody knock anymore?
I just followed him on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Judge Reinhold. He has like 600 Instagram followers. It's like, doesn't get to the point. It's probably 60 something. He doesn't give a shit. He's another guy who's just so fucking hilarious. But supporting cast.
Bo Derek, Rob Lowe, Dennehy.
Dennehy, yeah, that's a good one.
There's they didn't fill in the. I don't think there's any other like SNL people. Like you usually see Farley and Spade pop up in like a Sandler flick.
Planes, Trains. Who do you have? You have Kevin Bacon in the beginning, and then you have.
I feel like there's a lot of guys you would know, but I don't know their names.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Just character actors from over the years. You're like, I love that guy, but I don't know who he is.
Dave Thomas in it, I wonder.
I don't think Dave Thomas is in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I'm gonna check.
I'm thinking of that one motel scene where they get. What's that guy's name? When he's like, yeah, somebody will drive you.
Oh, wow. Now, here we go.
Okay.
You're going to be shocked just with this first one that popped up. Well, Kevin Bacon, Taxi Racer.
Yeah.
State Trooper, Michael McKean.
Wow.
That's a biggie. Especially since his run
He did a lot of that stuff, though, in the 80s.
Dylan Baker, who nobody knows who this is.
I know exactly who Dylan Baker is. That's who I was thinking of in Happiness.
Yes, yeah, it's fucking great.
Great.
Happiness. That's a movie I will never watch again, but I love. It's too disturbing, but I love it.
I walked by him on the street one day, and I was like, Dylan Baker. My girlfriend was like, I don't know who that is.
Did you say hello to him?
No, I left him alone.
He's Owen, he plays like the redneck.
Yeah, that's the exact guy I was thinking of when, yeah.
But I'm sorry to say.
Dylan Baker's a great character actor.
Yeah.
You would, if anybody listening, look him up, and you'll be like, oh, of course, that guy.
Who else is in it? Let's see. Oh, and here we go. Yeah, here we go, dude. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, I forgot a huge one.
Edie McClurg.
Okay.
Edie McClurg as the car rental agent.
McClurg, yeah.
And he fucking freaks out on her. What's the iconic? It's an iconic part. How do I not bring that up? Oh my god!
All right, I forgot Aykroyd though, and I don't even know. Maybe they were inspired by this, but Tommy Boy does have a bit of
Planes, Trains,
Automobile. Like they have the whole car trip. They have the whole plane trying to fly back to Chicago. They work in a lot of those antics within Tommy Boy. The whole the whole Richard being in love with his mint 76 car, and then Tommy just fucking it up. By the end, it's almost this very similar to Planes, Trains, where in the end the car is the rental car's on fire, whereas Tommy's it starts with the door
destroyed,
and then it starts
and then
it's the hood.
It was like modern day Planes, Trains.
Yeah,
but it was only a few years later.
And then they had, Tommy and just them pretending to be the flight attendants, which is so funny.
Yeah, yeah. But that is fun.
A lot of tropes they not lifted, but it's very there are similar movies. This is a great one.
Every buddy comedy in the world is trying to live up to a movie.
Tough one.
The best buddy comedy of all time. Like you can't beat it.
You really put the pressure on me.
Come on! I don't know if we talked about it on the show yet.
Not Blues Brothers.
No.
The greatest buddy comedy of all time? Is it a Pryor?
No.
No, it's not Pryor. Wow.
He knows it. Midnight Run.
Midnight Run? Oh, that's not the best of all time.
Yes, it is.
You love Midnight Run.
I love Midnight Run. Hold on. I want to play.
There's no way I would have guessed that.
Also another Seinfeld thing. Oh, we haven't done Seinfeld references on here in a while. Car rental. Well, that's one of the best scenes in Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
He goes,
you know how to take the
reservation. You know how to take the reservation. You know how to hold the reservation. Anybody can just take them.
He's just pulling it out of the air.
Here's the thing, man.
Great one.
We're going to end it here, but I think that, Alex, what do you think? I think I'm willing to concede, I think.
It's got more heart. It's got more pathos. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't know. That one.
It's got more heart. That's kind of a good way to put what I was trying to say.
Barely. By an aorta.
They both have drama. It's got more heart with better acting. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the
Probably
thing.
a little better acting, but that's also by a very small margin.
I'll tell you, I think you won. I think Tommy Boy is better because for the purposes of the movie. So I think that what you're doing, if Planes, Trains was trying to make, like, if you were saying what's a better heartwarming movie, Planes, Trains, but they're listed as comedies. The genre is comedy.
I think it's just
what's more iconic now is Tommy Boy because
and I think Tommy Boy is funnier, and I think the amount of heart that Tommy Boy has puts it over the top because
it has heart plus all the other stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say.
All right, you win, my friend.
Woohoo!
I think you win.
Well, we can take it to the masses.
Take it to the masses. What do you guys think? As we were talking about it, I realized, I think as far as comedy goes, I think you're right. Let us know what you think. What's better? Tommy Boy or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? I think we have to put parameters because I think we just went what's a better movie. If we go what's a better movie, I say Planes, Trains still. But I think in what it's supposed to be, which is a comedy, I think Tommy Boy is a better comedy.
I think Tommy Boy is a better movie.
No, I think Planes, Trains is a
overall.
better movie because you have. I think
we're gonna fight for another 4 minutes.
All right, forget it from there. I just think that was a really close one. Let us know what you think.
And that being said, I love Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's why a lot of these are tough because I don't want to give
I love
in.
Tommy Boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing. Tweet at us at Defend Your Movie. Let us know what you think. Which one won?
And thanks again to BG Mac, Sam11 at Sam1178.
Yeah, follow
great
him up.
suggestion.
Yeah, let us know. Give us more suggestions at Defend Your Movie. Email us defendyourmovie@gmail.com. Andy, you want to do what's your Twitter?
At Andy Fiori, ANDYFIORI. You can find me at that name on all social media. That's my website. Give me a follow and check out my tour dates. I got a bunch coming up all through the fall, so please check me out.
Cool, and I am at Time on Instagram and Twitter. Check both those out. And I have a show once a month on, so if you have Sirius Satellite Radio, look for on the Raw Dog channel. I do a show called Celebrate once a month. We celebrate a topic every month. It's a really fun show. We record this at Showbiz Studios. That's showbizstudios.com. You can go to their YouTube page. You can also go to their iTunes page where you can see an array of just fantastic podcasts that are under this network with a lot of our friends. Mostly, I think all friends with everybody has podcasts on this network, except for people I just don't know. But if I knew them, I'd probably become friends with them. I would hope. Absolutely. I would hope. I'm a people pleaser, okay? Thank you once again to Showbiz. Thank you again to Andy. And we'll see you next week. I love you. Goodbye.